Welcome everybody back to another episode of From the Sidelines with your host TJ Mako. And today we are going to be discussing the Knicks winning the 2026 NBA Finals, as well as we are going to start with our NBA position rankings. We're going to start off with our point guards today. But first, let's dive in to this NBA Finals where the Spurs go down in 5 games to the New York Knicks. Jalen Brunson wins Finals MVP in a series that, honestly speaking, they had no business winning. They had no business winning. Where we last left off, we were 3 games in, and I was saying I think the Spurs are going to come back. Absolutely did not happen. What I thought was going to happen did happen. They came out in Game 4 and were putting belt. And I had been saying it. I was talking with my friends. I was like, I feel like the Knicks are going to come out flat one game. They're just due, and the Spurs are going to take advantage. And we're going to go back to San Antonio, and it's going to be a tied series. Well, that's what happened for about 3 quarters of this game, and then the Spurs absolutely gave it away. This is a game that they lose by 1 point. OG Anunoby eventually gets that crazy tip in, and it's all hoorah and whatever. And the Spurs are upset that they end up losing this one, choking it away on the last possession. But this is a game that they should have had been put away. They were up 29 points at one point in this game. And this is a game where OG goes for 33. Jalen Brunson goes for 36. You let Josh Hart hit a three. Cat couldn't really get going. And it was legitimately the Jalen Brown and OG Anunoby, or Jalen Brunson, excuse me, and Jalen OG Anunoby show. No one else really showed up. No one contributed that much. Those two did everything. And on the Spurs side of things, Stephon Castle was terrible in this one. De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox. Julian Champagny was really bad. Everyone was bad, right? So this was one of the biggest atrocities I've ever seen, honestly, in an NBA Finals game, nonetheless. For them to have been up 29 points in a must-win game, essentially on the road, and choke it away, abysmal. Wemby, terrible. De'Aaron Fox, awful. The only person that came and showed up to play, and we'll just group Game 4 and Game 5 in together because, spoiler alert, they choked another big lead. Dylan Harper's the only one that came up to play throughout this entire series, consistently night in, night out throughout the whole game. Now in Game 5, he did. No, was it Game 4 or Game 5? I'm mixing them together. I think it was Game 5. He ended up missing up a layup down the stretch that could have helped him put it away, and then missed 2 free throws. So he's not completely not to blame, but he's also a rookie, and he's the one that kept y'all in the game because they were up 16 in Game 5. Every single game this series, they were up double digits at one point, and they managed to choke away every single lead and eventually lose the series in 5 total games. Just can't happen. Wemby, as much as I love him, as much as I think he's the best player in the world, this series showed that he was just not experienced enough. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for the physicality. He wasn't ready for the moment, and it showed. Mitch Johnson, I think besides De'Aaron Fox, who I'm gonna go on a rant with De'Aaron Fox, so just be prepared. But I think Mitch Johnson was so bad in this game, um, in the whole series. Honestly, the fact that you managed to blow 4 leads and almost 5. I think the game that they ended up winning, they had blown that lead at 1.2. And in the Thunder series, it was the same thing. They had the game where they started off 15-0, and then they ended up choking it. Mitch Johnson, what were you seeing out there that the rest of us weren't? I guess is my question. There were a lot of minutes where they start going on a run, and then they just pulled Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper, I want to say in one of these games late in the third quarter, gave him a spark, and he pulls him and puts De'Aaron Fox back in the game, and then De'Aaron Fox tries to get going and just was terrible, missed everything. I think that was Game 5. And I guess my question is to you is why? I understand at one point like De'Aaron Fox is your max player, he's your all-star, he's the vet that you went to go get for these moments. But when the young fella got it rolling, and De'Aaron Fox has been bad all postseason, whether it's injury related or not, he's been bad all postseason. Why do we insist on keeping him in the game? Why is he closing out games late in this Game 5? He's taking back-to-back mid-range shots and just missing, and it was just awful. Uh, the play calling for Mitch Johnson was really bad. He I don't think he understands how he can use Wemby. I don't think Wemby understands how he can be used yet. I don't think the Spurs have figured it out yet. And it's interesting because you'd think with Wemby it'd be such an easy thing to figure out. There were minutes in this game where the Knicks went really small. I think OG was playing center, typically like at that point. It was like OG, Mikel, Josh Hart, Jose Alvarado, and Jalen Brunson, like as small as they could get, and it was still like it wasn't. They weren't force feeding Wemby in the paint. It was only like 2 minutes, but I think one time in those 3 or 4 possessions, Wemby got the ball down low. I think it was a lot of 3-point shots again. So I just really want to know what Mitch Johnson is coaching, because it seems to me that every game throughout this series went the exact same way. It went the same way. Mitch Johnson, they get a lead. Mitch Johnson makes some substitutions. They start to lose the lead. And then he tries to put players back in when it's too late. But also, he's not calling timeouts. Stop and saying, cut out the 3-point shooting, get to the basket. We're going to put Dylan Harper and we're going to put Wemby in. We're not taking jump shots. Get to the basket, get to the basket, get to the basket. Because you saw all series, Cat couldn't do shit. Cat couldn't do a damn thing against Wemby or any of them, for a matter of fact. Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle saw like a baby when they were going into paint every time. They were not scared of Cat. They were not scared of Cat in the slightest. Cat almost fouls out in every game in this series. He had 4 fouls, could barely play in game 4. And then game 5, I know he was out for most of the game with fouls as well. He couldn't get going offensively in this game. Karl Anthony Towns was such a non-factor in this series that it blows my mind that Wemby couldn't dominate more. And not even just Wemby, but Castle and I would say Harper, but Harper is the only one that took advantage. Harper absolutely took advantage of the fact that Cat couldn't play in this one. Not that Cat's a great defender, but it's just another body. It's a 7-foot body. They were having to play Huck Porty and Jeremy Shohan at times. And I'll tell you, Dylan Harper saw a baby down there. Wemby, I can't say the same. And Mitch Johnson, I can't say the same for as well, because at the end of the day, whether it is Wemby or if it's Miss Johnson, whichever one it is, one of them needs to be I'm 7'4" with almost an 8-foot wingspan. I'm going down low. Jeremy Shohan is what, 6'6", 6'7"? Huck Porty, I don't know what, 6'9", 6'10". He's not a 7-footer. Probably not even that tall. Mitch Robinson, okay. I understand Mitch Robinson, he was doing his thing on the glass, but he couldn't stay out there. In a game where Karl Anthony Towns almost fouled out, Mitchell Robinson can only play 13 minutes. That's how out of shape he is. He only had 1 foul, and he was fine, but he was rebounding the ball, but he couldn't play. Huck Porty and Jeremy Shohan were seeing real finals minutes, whether it was less than 10 or not, in an NBA Finals game, and Wemby could not take advantage fully at all. And I think that goes a little bit more on coaching, because Wemby, we all view him as this great player, but he's also a really young player. He's 22 years old. Mitch Johnson is the one that needs to put him in his spots. Mitch Johnson needs to tell him what it is. He's not LeBron where he's 29, 30 years old. He's been through this. He knows where to be. No, this is his first time in NBA playoffs. This is his first time in any NBA Finals. Mitch Johnson, it is on you to figure out what the hell he needs to be doing. So it blew my mind, and it drove me really, really insane actually to watch, because Wemby, I know, is so much better than what he showed in his finals. I'll say the lights might have gotten a little too bright, and he was trying to aura farm, had the thing before the game. Everyone knows we're going to come back down 3-1, and I think that was more just trying to speak it into existence, trying to speak to his about his team and what they believe, which I get. But in a game where in back-to-back games where Cat couldn't really play, Mitchell Robinson couldn't play more than 15 minutes, Jose Alvarado was out there making big-time plays. OG Anunoby's playing the center. OG Anunoby, for a while there, looked like he was going to win Finals MVP until Game 5 came around, and boy, do we got to talk about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was so good in this game, was so phenomenal. I mean, one of the best playoff performances, yet alone finals performances, that I've seen in my lifetime. He was dominant. After the first quarter, from the second quarter on, he was dominant. He wasn't stopping. Nothing like for a 5'11" guy. I mean, they probably have him listed as like 6'2", 6. Nah, I think he's sub 6 foot, maybe 6 foot. For him to have dominated the game the way he did against good defenders, really good defenders, in Harper and Castle, just didn't matter. 45 points, 14 for 27, 4 for 7 for 3, 13 for 15 from the line. And I would be honest, I think anybody watching this game after the first quarter will tell you it didn't feel like Jalen Brunson missed a shot. It felt like he just did whatever the hell he wanted to. And I don't know. I was in awe. I was genuinely sitting there like, I was in awe watching Jalen Brunson. That was the most phenomenal performance I've ever seen from somebody of his size. I mean, okay, let me pump the brakes because Steph Curry, but like Jalen Brunson deserves all the flowers in the world. Um, just absolutely like Finals MVP. He proved everybody wrong in this one. 41 minutes, 45 points, only 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. It didn't matter, man. They could not stop him to save their lives. And on the other end, it was once again Spurs with nothing. Dylan Harper got him 25 points, 10 for 19, 2 for 4, 3 for 5. Ended up missing 2 free throws at the end of the game. Wemby with only 19 points, 1 for 6 from 3. Why? Like, why? Why 6 threes? Why are we taking 6 threes in a game where we can't get it going? Um, Keldon Johnson played probably his best game of the series in this one, and he didn't really do too much, but he was a plus 17 in this game. But then Stephon Castle, 1 for 10. Stephon Castle 1 for 10, man. That was just really disappointing to me because I know he had really good games in the series, and I know he's such a good player. For him to have gone 1 for 10 in a game like this, where it was a lot of layups, it was a lot of bunnies, and he couldn't find rhythm. I think he was also dealing with foul trouble a little bit, so he didn't play as much. But for him to have still gotten more than minutes than Dylan Harper, in this one, and then De'Aaron Fox getting 37 minutes to Harper's 31 in a game where Dylan Harper has 25 and De'Aaron Fox has 7 on 3 for 15. De'Aaron Fox, what are you doing? What are you doing? 3 for 15 in a must-win playoff game after you just came out and did one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my entire life watching basketball and go for a layup with OG Anunoby, not just a random dude, OG Anunoby trailing you. When you're up 1 point with like 10 seconds left, all you have to do is hold on to the ball, get fouled, make one or at least one free throw, and you're probably going to overtime at least. In a game that you were up 29 and you sold completely and you were awful at. De'Aaron Fox, you ought to be ashamed of yourself because you single-handedly, not single-handedly, but damn near single-handedly cost the Spurs 2 games in this series. If you just gave them anything, they might very well be still playing. We might have a game 6 or a game 7 coming. But you single-handedly took it upon yourself to insert yourself. And I want to talk specifically about this game 5 because you went out there in the last 2 minutes of the game and took all them damn shots when you knew you didn't have it going. 3 for 15. I seen you take at least 2 to 3 shots in the last minute and a half of this game. Just completely miss. And then you in the post game, you're out there like you don't even care. And Mitch Johnson, I'm talking to you too, because why the hell is De'Aaron Fox playing 37 minutes and Harper's only playing 31 when Harper got 25 points on 10 for 19? Now he missed his last 2 shots too, or the last couple shots too, because you let him get cold on the bench. The second you took him out the game was over. The second you took Harper out the game and put Fox in, the game was over. And both of y'all got up there at a post-game interview and were like, well, you know, they want me to trade De'Aaron Fox. They want to fire me. Blah, 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 blah. Mitch Johnson, do you not think you deserve to be on a hot seat after that? Do you think De'Aaron Fox just deserves to go under the table? Like he didn't just completely sell this series? Now, I get Wemby didn't have a great game. I get Stephon Castle was really bad in this game. But what stood out above all of that was how terrible your coaching was and De'Aaron Fox was. And De'Aaron Fox in the post-game interview, I just wanted to go up more points. Well, why don't you trust yourself to make the fucking free throws then? Ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be in fucking hiding. Because I'm not going to lie, if I was Wemby, If I was Wemby, if I was Harper, it would be some words for y'all. It would definitely be some words for y'all. So overall, this was one of, if not the best finals that only lasted 5 games. I mean, every game literally came down to the wire. We got a 94 to 90 to end it off, 107 to 106 in game four, 115 to 111 in game three, 105 to 104 in game two, and then 105 to 95 in game one. Every game of this series was 10 points or less. We had 2 games end literally at the buzzer. Crazy series. Shout out to the Spurs. I'll say shout out to the Spurs because while it was really bad and while I'm very disappointed in the way they looked, they still got to where they wanted to be. And at the end of the day, they're very young. Wemby is 22. Um, Harper is 20 and Castle is 21. So the sky's the limit for that trio. I've seen a lot of people like, well, a lot of people think they're going to be back and they never been back. Wemby will be back. Wemby will be back. I think that is almost a guarantee. On the other hand, for the Knicks, I just cannot praise them enough. I cannot praise Mike Brown enough for the job he did. I cannot praise Jalen Brunson enough for the job he did. I cannot praise OG Anunoby enough for the job he did. And what's so interesting about this series is it really felt like it felt like the Spurs got more from everybody, even though they had really bad games from De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. Like it felt like the Julian Champagnes of the world were helping more than, and the Devin Vassell's. Like it kind of felt like a 2-man show for the most part for the Knicks. It kind of felt like OG and Mikal, or not OG and Mikal, but OG and JB and just hope for the rest. I mean, game one of the series, Jalen Brunson 30 ball, OG 17, Cat gets 18, but that's really it. Like Mikal Bridges only gets 9 points in this game. Game two of this series, OG 17, Cat gets his little 21 piece. This game two was the most overall well-rounded game from all of them. 17 from OG, 21 from Cat, 20 from Mikal, 20 from JB, and then Landry Shaman also gave you a 13 off the bench. But then in like game three, as the series went on, it kind of progressed into like everyone kind of slowing down. Cat only gives you 11 in this one. Mikal Bridges gave you 2 in this one. Josh Hart gave you 16, but then like OG 28, Brunson 32. Game 5, it was 33 from Brunson, 36 from Brunson, 33 from OG, only 13 from Cat, 7 from Mikal. And then in game 5, it was the same thing where it's only 2 points from Cat. 2 points from Cat in game 5, and they won. Crazy. Like 11 points from OG, and this was just the Jalen Brunson show of 45. But in a series where it was really just Jalen Brunson and then OG was helping for a couple games, but it was Jalen Brunson. Like Cat gave him nothing. Cat had one game in this series where I felt like he was impactful. Mikal was invisible for 90% of the series. He had a good game 5, and I think he had a good game 1, and outside of that, he was invisible. OG was fantastic. Josh Hart did Josh Hart things, but offensively, that's not a lot. And they won. I mean, this was a very low scoring series. Only one game. Both teams got over 110 points. In today's NBA, that's ridiculous. But yeah, in a series where it's just really Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby that you can rely on from game to game, um, it just shows the resilience, like from Jalen Brunson, from OG. Landry Shamet would come in and give you minutes. Jose Alvarado came in and give you minutes. Like, it didn't matter who you put in. They might not have gone off for 15, 20 points, but they were just impactful. It just felt like everyone was impactful. Whereas for the Spurs, like, Wemby was really impactful in the first half, I think, of every game. And then in the second half, he was just pretty bad for the most part. Julian Champagnie had a pretty good series. Devin Vassell had a really good playoff run in general. And Dylan Harper was phenomenal. And Steph Castle before the last 2 games was really good. So it just felt like from the others, like the Spurs got a little bit more, but it just didn't matter because they had the best player in the series. And that's crazy. A 5'11 guy, 6-foot guy, and Jalen Brunson was the best player in the series, but they have a 7'4 demigod on the other side. So shout out to Mike Brown. I literally cannot say enough. I cannot give them enough praise. I really can't. I did not expect this. Like I would have never in a million years thought that this would have even been the finals matchup, yet alone the Knicks win. I would have thought like coming into the playoff run, okay, it made a little bit of sense. The Knicks, okay, I could see it, but like I really thought the Celtics, I thought once I saw the Sixers beat the Celtics, I was like, oh, maybe the Sixers can do it. No, Cavs coming into the season, I kind of expected come playoff time. Nah, they were terrible. Pistons couldn't do anything. So it was like it was the Knicks' year. It was their chance to really do something. Especially with the Pacers being out and Giannis not being on a good team. Like it was a really good year for them to take advantage. And they didn't just like take advantage and get by and get to the finals. Oh, we lost, but the West is the West. No, they dominated. They had one of the most dominant playoff runs and the most unexpectedly dominant playoff runs I've ever seen. You obviously got the Warriors in 2017 where they lost one game, but it's Steph, Clay, Kevin Durant, Draymond. Like this isn't they don't have anybody to the level of Steph or Clay on this team, or not Clay, but Steph or KD on this team, and they just dominated. They lost two games to the Hawks. They lost the game to the Spurs, but that's it. And it really makes you wonder, like, bro, how good is CJ McCollum? Like, how good is CJ McCollum? Nah, I'm just playing, but absolutely fantastic game. Fantastic series all around. Like watching experiences with everybody on Twitter and it's just times like this where everybody is honed in on the same thing is just always peak to me. Like I love when I'm on Twitter and everyone's tweeting about the same thing and TikTok's all about the same stuff. Like it's just so entertaining because it was so captive. Like this was such a good finals. There was not one blowout. There was not one bad game. And even though it only went five, and that's why I was so mad. That's why I was so mad in game four when the Spurs blew that lead because I was like, man, like I want more. Like I'm feeding for more. Game five when they choked that lead again, I was like, I'm feeding for more. Like let this go 6 or 7. I don't care who wins. I just want more and more and more. But in the end, the team who deserved it absolutely won. Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. Shout out Jalen Brunson. Shout out OG. Shout out Mike Brown. Shout out Jose Alvarado. Shout out Josh Hart. Shout out everybody actually except for Karl Anthony Towns. I will never sing into those praises. And for any of y'all little trolls on Twitter talking about Andrew Wiggins got a finals, Cat got a finals, Jimmy don't got a finals, man, cut that out. We all know Jimmy Butler, the best player of all three of those, all time, right now, anywhere. Led his team to the finals twice. Stop playing with him. Cat, they won in spite of Cat. Excuse me. They won in spite of Cat. Nah, I'm just playing. Shout out Cat too, but yeah, I mean, just a heck of a finals. We can transition a little bit into some more Giannis trade talk because that's all that there is right now. The Celtics want Giannis, apparently. It's so many conflicting reports going on. I gotta check my phone to like make sure that Giannis didn't randomly get traded or some other random ass news didn't happen about Giannis. But been a lot on Twitter about Bill Simmons, I think, came out and was the first one to be like the Celtics are interested in Giannis and they're trying to package up a trade to trade Jaylen Brown to X, Y, and Z team and get Giannis. And like I'm just ready for this saga to end, bro. I'm just ready for it to end because then today it's coming out like people are like, no, the Celtics aren't doing that. A lot of reports are saying that that's not expected to happen. A lot of reports are saying that the Celtics are actually trying to trade for Giannis without giving up Jaylen Brown, which will never happen, in my opinion. The Celtics don't have anything to give up that's not Jaylen Brown. Like nobody, like why would you want their first round picks? They're really low. They're going to be like 30s, like especially if you give them Giannis and let them keep Jaylen Brown. The Jaylen Brown stuff is interesting though because if Jaylen Brown gets moved to Atlanta, or I think like Atlanta was the big team, Portland was another team. I saw a mock for the Heat. I don't think that'll happen, but Atlanta is a really good one. The Pistons is another team that I like, but I just don't think the Pistons have enough assets. But Jaylen Brown in Atlanta would be nice. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Johnson, too many Jalen's, but whew. You got Dyson Daniels, you got Nikhil Alexander Walker, you got Onyeka Okongwu. So like they got pieces over there. So it would be a really good team, fun team. Not a finals team to me. But then reports coming out right now that the Pistons are interested in Tyler Hero because apparently the big holdup with the Heat stuff, if it's true, if it's gonna happen, is that the Bucks don't want Tyler Hero. Reports at first where the Bucks want Tyler Hero, they want to keep him. Now the reports are that the Bucks don't want Tyler Hero and they're looking for a third team to take Tyler Hero so they can get some more stuff back. Tyler Hero in Detroit would be phenomenal. I think people underrate Tyler Hero because sure, maybe right now as the Heat's best player, he's overtaxed. Best offensive player, I'll say he's being completely overtaxed. If you can get Tyler Hero as your second offensive option, maybe second, third best player, Detroit would love Tyler Hero. Could you imagine if they just had Detroit or if they just had Tyler Hero, they would have flew past the Magic and they would have flew past the Cavs. And they probably could have made it a series against the Knicks, but I don't know how the Knicks were moving. I don't know. But Tyler Hero, that's a 22. I mean, yeah, like 22. What did he average this year? Let me look up Tyler Hero because I know he's over 20 a game. He's over 20 a game. He averaged 20 this year. It was a bad year. Last year he was 24 on 47% shooting, 37% from three. One of the best free throw shooters in the association. He'll give you 5 and 5. I mean, phenomenal basketball player. And if you can have him, now injuries are a little bit of a concern with him. He does tend to get injured a little bit, but overall, like Tyler Hero to Detroit would instantly make them a contender, I think, for next year. I think they would instantly be able to compete with the Pacers, with the Knicks. I think the overall playmaking that he brings, like I think that's so underrated with Tyler Hero. Not to mention the fact that also he's going to give you 24 a night, um, around there, like plus 20 on very efficient shooting. He's gonna, and when he gets hot, he gets hot. It's hard to get Tyler going. Him as a 1-2 punch with Cade in that backcourt, and then you got Sar Thompson, you got Jalen Duren still down low, and if you can bring back Tobias Harris or whoever they have there at the four, I think that lineup instantly inserts them. I think they probably end up number one seed again because they're definitely not getting worse with Tyler Hero. And then you get to bring in a spark plug guy like him. It's an opportunity for them really to take that next leap. I actually like this fit more than I like the Kyrie or the Kawhi because I think Tyler Hero is literally exactly what they need. They don't need a defender, I mean obviously that's a plus, but they need somebody who's going to score the ball and who can play make a little bit, and that is like Tyler Hero to a T. You're getting an all-star level talent. You might have to pay him a little bit, but it's going to be worth it. I'm telling you, Tyler Hero is one of the most underrated players in the association just because Heat fans, not necessarily fans, try to overrate him, but the Heat overtax him as a player right now. And he's supposed to be their number one option. And it doesn't look too pretty when it's just him and Bam out there. But trust me, Tyler Hero, clutch as they come, absolute bucket. Whatever team ends up getting Tyler Hero, I'm telling you, he's going to go from like everyone talks overrated to instantly being like, oh shit, Tyler Hero is one of them ones. So I can't wait to see where he goes because I don't think he'll be back in Miami now. You know how Miami loves to just run it back, so we'll see. But yeah, so that's the big news around the league. Where is Giannis going to go? It's pretty much narrowed down to the Heat, the Celtics, or he just stays. And it would be such a Giannis thing for all of this to go down and him just end up staying in Milwaukee, which would be so bad. And I see a lot of people talking about, oh, why would he want to go to South Beach? That's just Milwaukee 2.0. First off, no, just no. Like the culture, the coaching staff, and like not even to mention the talent of the team yet, is instantly a 20% upgrade, a 50, 100% upgrade from what it is in Milwaukee with Doc Rivers and all the bullshit that goes on over there. And then when you get to the talent wise, I think a Giannis and Bam backcourt, first off, defensively, nasty. Nasty. No, who's scoring in the paint? That's on lock. Like nobody's scoring on that team, for one. For two, the lineup would look something like what? Davion Mitchell. You assume you can bring Norman Powell back now that you get rid of Tyler Hero. Andrew Wiggins, you hope accepts his option. And then you got Giannis and Bam. That is a really good starting five. And then off the bench, you still have, some pieces. I think Kaz probably goes in this one, but you still got Larson, and I'm blanking on who else you got on that team. But like you have some guys still, and then you can still go out and make moves. You don't got a lot of money, but you can make trades. You can do stuff. Like the last thing I'm worried about is trading for a top 5 player if I'm Miami. Like I see a lot of Heat fans like, well, we're gonna have nothing left. He's a top 5 player in the league, one of the best players in the world. Mind you, this guy literally won Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, however many time All NBA first. Like this is like the one of the best players of our generation. Like there should be no hesitancy to trade for him. Um, and I'm not concerned about. I mean, we saw the roster that they brought in with Jimmy. It was it was some bullshit. It was like I don't even remember who's on that team. But then they found pieces. They found Duncan Robinson. You know, they found Kendrick. All these guys they drafted. Like they built their roster that year and made it to the finals that exact year. And I have no doubt that this Heat team, I think that lineup, that starting five that I just named, can compete with the Knicks, can compete with the Pacers when they're healthy, can compete with the Celtics. I have no doubt in that. I have no doubt about that in my mind. So any Heat fan or any NBA fan in general that's like, well, why would he want to go there? I mean, that's why. We've seen it. We've seen it time and time again in the NBA. You can't build teams without role players. And I think that's the biggest thing that the Heat have is they have role players. The Celtics, if you trade them to the Celtics, and if somehow, in some godforsaken way, they get him without managing to trade Jalen Brownson or Jalen Brown, excuse me, and Jason Tatum, who else is on that team? They don't really have anyone else. Baylor Shireman. Now, Giannis, Tatum, and Brown is probably enough to make a finals, but I don't view that team as a finals winning team. I like the Celtics better now. Shout out to numbers on the board, Pierre, Pee Wee the Plug, Pierre. Less is more sometimes. Less is more. Less is more theories. He says it all the time. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. We don't always need to go star hunting. We don't. The Celtics right now have a team that is designed to win the finals. They had a really like interesting and weird postseason, but like there was no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind that whole time that they could make the run. Derek White took a little bit of a step back. He wasn't scoring as well, Payton Pritchard, whatever. But like full offseason for Tatum, Jaylen Brown coming off the season he had, Derek White, name is Kata. They'll be fine. They will be fine. I think they're still a finals team every year. Joe Mazzulla, also one of the best coaches in the league. I have no doubt with the Celtics. Like, I just don't think they need Giannis. I don't think that they should go get Giannis. I think if they're gonna make trades, they should make trades for better role players before they try to go get a whole nother star. That's just my opinion. Why are you trying to go into the second apron and do this, that, and the third? Like just chill. Go get a couple guys. Hope Baylor Shireman takes a little bit of a step, can become more of a consistent player. Namus Kate had a really good season. Payton Pritchard is still doing this. Like less is more. Shout out to Pierre because that is fact. That is fact. But with all that, all the rumors out the way, which is just the honest stuff over and 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 over. Let's get into my top 10 point guard list. And we're going to be doing this every week. Next week, we'll do shooting guards, week after small forwards, so on and so forth. After we finish with the NBA, we will get into the NFL and we'll start doing that stuff as we wrap up into the NFL season. But let's start off our top 10 point guard rankings with number 10, which I kind of had a tie, y'all. I kind of didn't know who to choose. I had John Moran, I had Kyrie Irving. Now, we haven't seen Kyrie play in a year. He's a little bit older, 30, I want to say he's like 35 now, coming off an ACL. Like, what are we really expecting from Kyrie Irving? So, that being said, I still think Kyrie Irving is that guy, Like, I still think it's Kyrie Irving. But then I also had John Morant because he had a down year, and he's had a down couple years, and he's weird because he started off so high, and now he's just going so low. But he's still so young, he's still so talented. I think he just needs to get the hell out of Memphis. I'm blanking on if there was anybody else that I wanted to mention, but those were my two that I had in my top 10 spot. I think John Morant. I really like Ja. I think he just needs to go somewhere else. The breath of fresh air for Ja would be so good. Um, in Kyrie, I kind of like him on that Mavericks team. As weird as it sounds, like I wouldn't mind them trading him either because obviously like he's old and he can contribute, but he probably wants to go win. He doesn't want to be on a team like that's rebuilding kind of, I guess, in the Mavs and Cooper Flag and all that. But I think he could be so good to Cooper Flag's development and like still playing with Derek Lively. Like they have a sneaky good roster over there. It's just kind of weird because they don't like stay healthy. Like they can't really play together. But I had those two tied for my 10. Like I really don't mind either of them. I probably lean towards Ja just because I know what I'm going to get from Ja most likely. Kyrie is kind of just not played in a year and he's old. But we'll see how that goes. And then in my 9 and my 8 spot, I'm kind of still flipping back and forth, flipping back and forth. Right now, I have at number 9, I have Jamal Murray. Um, First time All Star. Finally, Jamal Murray made the All Star team. Um, but he kind of had a down second half to the year. Let me pull up Jamal Murray's stats. Um, yeah, Jamal Murray, he averaged 25 on a year, 25, 4, and 7. Like he had a phenomenal regular season. Postseason, he didn't really do his biggest of ones in the postseason, but um yeah, Jamal Murray, I mean, every year he's been phenomenal. He's been one of the best players in the league. For years and years, he's been the best player to never make an All-Star, and then he finally makes one this year. Averages 25 a night. And the person who I had right in front of him is Damian Lillard. I'll just go ahead and spoil that now. So that's why I was kind of flipping between, do I want Dame? Do I want Jamal? I didn't even realize Jamal Murray actually averaged 25 this year, which kind of makes me want to move him up again ahead of Dame, just because Dame obviously didn't play last year, and he's once again an older player coming off an Achilles injury. Like I don't know what to expect from him, but yeah, Jamal Murray, man. I was just disappointed. I think the reason I have him lower is because that playoff run left a sour taste in my mouth. That whole Nuggets team in the playoffs was not good. Um, yeah, and it's just been the same. We've been seeing the same from Jamal Murray. He's been so consistent. He's a really on or off player, so he'll have nights where he gets it going. He'll just score 40. He has nights where he can't do a damn thing, and he'll score like 12. So and it helps him that he's playing with the best player in the world, in Nikola Jokic, or one of the best players in the world, in Nikola Jokic. So that's why I have him a little lower. Counting stat wise, he might be higher than some of these dudes, but just what I see and what I watch, like would I want him as my starting point guard or would I want Damian Lillard as my starting point guard? I'm probably picking Dame, who is my number 8. Um, we all know what we're getting from Dame. I don't really got to say too much about Dame. Like the thing about him is that even when he was having those down year, like that down year with the Bucks, I still think he was really good. I just think the fit was bad. I think the team was bad. But I mean, Dame is still Dame, one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. We've seen what he's done with the Trailblazers. I can't wait to see him this year on that Trailblazers team. Him, Scoot, hopefully can keep his resurgence going. They still got Sharp, if they don't trade him, and Denny, and hopefully Donovan Clingan can have a better season this year. And like they just got so much stuff over there. I'm really excited to see Dame play this year. Like I love Damian Lillard. I'm not like the biggest Laser, but I was so sad when he missed out on him. I love me some Damian Lillard, man. He's so phenomenal. At my number 7, I got LaMelo Ball. Now, here's the thing about LaMelo Ball. He is such a hard player to rank because like he should be so much better than he is. I feel I still like to this very moment feel that way. Like he only averaged 25 and 7 this year. The reason I gave him the nod over guys like Jamal Murray, who averaged 25, and Damian Lillard, is because I know what I can get from LaMelo. He's 6'6", 6'7", can shoot the piss out the ball, can play make, can dunk you. Like he can do everything on the court. He's not the greatest defender, but he can defend if he really wants to. He only played 28 minutes a game, but he had his healthiest, well, one of the healthiest years of his career. He played 72 games. And he was efficient, 37 from the 3-point line. Only gave you 20 points a game, which is surprising. I did not know he was that low. But I mean, we saw he can play winning basketball. This is the first year we've really seen LaMelo Ball in like a winning situation where it's like not just him, in Chino Hills. You know what I'm saying? Like he really played locked in and played winning basketball for this Hornets team. And I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised to see that maturity from LaMelo. And then that playing game against the Heat, he might have shot terribly. He had 30 on 12 for 31 and 2 for 16 from 3. But he had that game winning shot and everything. Like I really like what I'm seeing from LaMelo, and he's still young. He's only 24. You know, I think I think he's a guy that he might never reach the level that I really thought he could at one point, but he's a really good basketball player. Um, and I just like what he can do a little bit more than what Jamal Murray and Damian Lillard can do at the end of the day. I like taller guards. I think he shoots well, he plays well, he play makes well. I'm so excited to see the Hornets this next year because the Hornets the run they went on, I think everyone became a Hornets fan towards the end of the year. Obviously, as a Heat fan, I was praying on their downfall in that playing game, and they ended up winning in phenomenal fashion. But yeah, LaMelo Ball on my seven, it just felt right. And then at the number six spot, I had Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is such a weird player because it's like at some point in time, like I will genuinely feel like he's like a top 10 player in the NBA. But then like I couldn't even put him top five in my point guard list. So can he be top 10? I don't think so. He had 28 a night this year though. He started off the year really, really, really phenomenal too, if I'm not mistaken. He kind of cooled off a little bit in the second half of the year when JoJo got back. And VJ kept it going. Kelly Oubre, like I almost said Jared McCain. They traded Jared McCain away for nothing. But yeah, no, Tyrese Maxey, I mean, absolute bucket. Like such a clutch player. Like offensively, there's nothing you can take away from him. Three-level score, so fast. He's always so happy. He's young, 25. He's not that young. He's actually older than I thought he was. But yeah, he's 28 a night, 37% from the three, 36% from the field, 6 points or 6 assists, 2 steals a night. Like really good. Him and Joel is just so fun to watch. I think anybody who really like watches knows Tyrese Maxey's like his ceiling is unlimited, but he can never stay at his absolute peak, which kind of knocks him a little bit, unfortunately. Um, Number five, I have Cade Cunningham is a guy that like was so shitted on for the first half of his career. Like a lot of people were really down on him, and would say, "Oh man, he was a bust. This, that, and the third. He got injured a lot. He didn't live up to the hype." And then the last 2 seasons, he's just come out and completely turned this Pistons team upside down. He averaged, I want to say, like 25 or something a night. Um, Let me look. Let me pull that up. He averaged his, but like besides what he just averages, just watching him, he backpacks that team. Averages only 24 a night, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. But I mean, he led the Pistons to a 60-win team. On a team where his second best player is Jalen Duren, right? I think that kind of just goes to show you how good he is and how much of a floor raiser he is. Because I love Jalen Duren. Well, I like Jalen Duren, but he's not he's not a dominant number two. He's not like he would not be the number two on a team that you think would win 60 games. You know what I'm saying? Like who was even their number three? They started a lineup with Kate Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren, and they won 60 something games. On paper, that does not sound that good. That is Cade Cunningham. A little bit of JB Bickerstaff, a little bit of a bench guy, a little bit of role players doing their thing, but that is Cade Cunningham. Um, and it kind of like I don't want to have him this low on the list. But the guys above him are so solidified that I can't put them above. And I'll just say who I have right here at number five. A lot of people are forgetting about Tyrese Halliburton. I got Hallie at my number five because did we just see what he did last year in the playoffs? Did we just see what the Pacers just did as a team last year? And then what they were this year? I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, he's never going to be a box score guy. If you're looking at the box score, you're going to be like, oh, Jamal Murray's better than him. LaMelo Ball's better than him. Tyrese Maxey's way better than him. No, no, no. You got to watch. You got to watch. Like, Tyrese Halliburton is becoming forgotten because the NBA moves like this. You forget about players fast. Not me, not a lot of y'all, but NBA Twitter, NBA fans, they forget about people fast, 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 fast. Tyrese Halliburton just led his team to the finals. Tyrese Halliburton just took what everyone thought was going to be the easiest run of all time, and that the Thunder were having to 7 games and got injured, and they still almost won. Like crazy clutch shots. Tyrese Halliburton, I have him at number five. I want to have him higher, but I have Jalen Brunson right ahead of him at number four because I know that if I put him any lower, it's just not gonna feel right. But those two guys are like both of them just had the most dominant runs. Like, how can I choose between which one's better? I put Brunson above him because Brunson did it more recently and Halliburton was injured all year. But we cannot forget about what Halliburton did, y'all. Please, please, please. Nobody forget how good Tyrese Halliburton is. Please, please. We cannot forget about how good Tyrese Halliburton is. But yes, Brunson at my number four spot. And a lot of people disagree with me when I posted my last list about having Steph Curry above him, which I still do at number 3. Jalen Brunson just solidified himself in that playoff run. Just solidified himself. He had one of the best game 5s, closeout games that I've ever seen. But at the same time, it's Steph Curry. I've seen Steph Curry do stuff like that on a night in, night out basis for years and years and years in a row. Last year, I saw a 36, 37, whatever, how old he is, Steph Curry, excuse me, dominate games, just jump shots. And his team is significantly worse. So I still put Steph above him. I think it's going to take a lot for me to move Steph Curry down his list, right? Maybe Steph has to take a big step back. Maybe Brunson has to take a big step forward in the regular season. Maybe, a lot of these guys have to do a lot of things, but there's just not many players I would want on my team over Steph Curry. So for now, I'm going to keep him and I'm going to solidify him there in my 3 spot. Y'all can argue with me. I'm not going to disagree with you if you have Brunson over him. I'm not going to disagree with you if you have Halliburton over him. I'm probably going to disagree with you if you have Cade over him. But he just can't go that low for me, man. He's just, and maybe it's biased because Steph Curry is my second favorite basketball player of all time. I mean, there's no one I enjoy watching highlights of more. But I mean, it's just he paved the way for a guy like Jalen Brunson, I feel like, to really even be who he is in the league, because small guard just finding their way, and Steph Curry does with jump shooting, and age doesn't matter. Like, everyone talks about Braun beating Father Time, but Steph Curry's doing the same thing, man. Steph Curry, like, I'm not kidding you, Steph Curry does not look a minute younger than he did a decade ago. He's still running around. He's still shooting the threes. He's still making it. He's still putting up 45 points against the Spurs. Like, he's doing, like, no one instills fear, I feel like, in anybody's heart more than Steph Curry, because anywhere he is at any time, he can just shoot the ball and he gonna make it. It don't matter who's guarding him, man. Like, I'll never forget that game he had against the Spurs this year, where I want to say he put up like 47 or something. He just killed them, and it doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't matter what coverages they've thrown at him. He's getting to the basket, and he knows how to defend the people off, the defenders off, and finish. He knows how to shoot the ball, and he has the worst whistle of all time. If Steph Curry had a better whistle, he would average like 30 some a night, bro. He would average like 35 a night, I swear. Go look at it. Compared to every other star that's averaging this much, Steph Curry shoots like 4 free throws a game. It's ridiculous. But at number 2, I think, not to a lot of people's surprise, Luka Doncic is the second best point guard in the NBA. And you could genuinely make an argument for number 1. I'm so glad that Luka had the second half run that he did, because people were really starting to forget who he was. Luka Doncic is 33, 10, and 10 a night. And it's just dominating. And it hurts. Like, going against him hurts you, because he makes it look so easy by doing nothing. He's so slow. He's so methodical. He just gets to where he wants to go, and he moves at his own pace. You can't speed him up. You can't slow him down. He just does what he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. And then you throw 2 at him, boom, I'm gonna make the right pass every time. I'm gonna make the right pass every time. Oh, you think you can face guard me? It don't matter. Like, it don't matter what you do. He's gonna get the ball. He's gonna ding ding, step back, boom. A little slow ass step back, but he makes it every time. I don't get it. Like, Luka Doncic gets to the basket with ease. He'll get the fouls. He gets everything. Like, you can easily convince me that he's the best point guard in the league, and I'll believe you. Easily. Like, he's one of the he could, like, any given night, he's the best player in the league. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Luka Doncic's disrespect has gone too far. I don't care if he doesn't play defense. I'll take him on my team any day of the week. Sure, he might give up 20, but he'll give you 35 and 13 assists. Stop playing with Luka, man. I'm so sad we didn't get to see him in the playoffs. I'm so sad we didn't get to see him in the playoffs, because he really would let y'all know who he really is. But, of course, at number 1, we got the 2-time reigning MVP, just won the Finals MVP last year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, like Luka, will give you 35 a night and not, like, have to break a sweat. He'll do it in 25 minutes, go to the bench and be cool. And while we're here, let's just stop with the flopping stuff, right? Let's just stop with that narrative. And I'm talking to you, NBA Twitter, you, NBA TikTok. It's unnecessary. Because they're getting fouled. Like, yes, do they flop a little bit? Sure. Does it ruin my experience watching? Almost never. Almost never. I never have sat there and watched a Shea game and been like, oh my gosh, bro, I can't stand this. He's getting every foul call. Now, I've watched games with the Thunder. There were a couple games this postseason run where I felt like the Thunder were getting away with fouling a lot. But I never watch Shea and think, wow, bro, if he didn't like get 20 free throws a game, he would be bad. Shea's so good. Like, he gets fouled. There's a reason he's getting fouled. There's a reason he's going to the line that much. Same thing with Luka. Like, yes, they are drawing the fouls. Yes, they are exaggerating the fouls. Yes, they are getting fouled. Like, if everybody could do it, everyone would do it. You don't see everybody doing it, right? Everybody in the league doesn't get 15 free throws a game. There's a reason that these guys get so many free throws. It's because they know what they're doing. It's because they can get to their spots. It's because they can't be guarded. They can't be guarded. Shea cannot be guarded. Luka cannot be guarded. You cannot guard Shea. You cannot stop Shea. Shea is going to do what he wants, when he wants, at whatever time he wants. He will give you 35 a night. He's not going to break a sweat doing it. All three levels. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he'll bring it out when he has to. He can pass and he can defend too. That's one thing about Shea. That's why I give him a little bit of edge over Luka. He can defend. He'll lock you up. And he's a clutch player. One of the most clutch. Him and Luka both some of the most clutch players in the league. But I just give Shea that slight edge because, well, he's coming off of finals. 2-time MVP. I mean, you got to have him at number one. But overall, Shea is the best point guard in the league, and cut out that flopping stuff. But my top 10 list for point guards in the NBA goes, starting at number 10, I had a tie between John Morant and Kyrie Irving. I'm leaning a little bit towards Ja, but I kind of like Kai, so I put them both. Argue with me. Number 9, I had Jamal Murray. Number 8, I had Damian Lillard. Number 7, I got LaMelo Ball. Number 6, I got Tyrese Maxey. My top 5, Cade Cunningham, Hallie. Don't forget about Hallie. Brunson. Oh, I feel like I missed a spot. I feel like I might have named too many people. Oh, no, y'all. Did I make my list too long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. I don't know how I managed to do this, but I made my list 11 people. So I don't even need to put Ja or Kyrie on here. So my top 10 list, my top 10 point guard list goes as followed. At number 10, I had Jamal Murray. At number 9, I had Damian Lillard. At number 8, I have LaMelo Ball. At number 7, I got Tyrese Maxey. At number 6, I got Cade Cunningham. At number 5, I got Tyrese Halliburton. At number 4, I got Jalen Brunson. Brun. At number 3, I got Steph Chef. Look at Curry, man. Number 2, I got none other than the Don. And number 1, got the 2-time MVP, reigning finals MVP, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Let me know what y'all think about my list. What would y'all list be? But that is going to wrap up this pod. I think this is our 3rd or 4th episode. I appreciate y'all rock with me. We are now on Spotify. So please go listen on Spotify, like the pod, save the pod, do whatever you can. Support me. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, I will catch y'all boys later.